or those of you who don't are living under a rock. Those of you who don't know who Elon Musk is are living under a rock. Between the two, Elon Musk is our Christ at this point. Elon Musk, he is our true success story, not Temple Grandin. And let me tell you why. Temple Grandin does not represent our community. She is so far removed from our community, and in the way that she is treated by the general public, that you might as well just not acknowledge the fact that she's autistic, because she doesn't live it. Those of you who want to tell, who have to live this every day, who don't get the attention that she does, who aren't heard like she does, you guys want to use her as an excuse when you ignore us. Well, look at Temple Grandin. Look at all that she was able to achieve, even though she was made fun of too. Well, also, you're not looking at the fact that even though she was being made fun of, she had every advantage growing up. Every advantage growing up. What is Temple Grandin known for? She is such a wonderful, wonderful example of autism. The things that you can do through adversity if you try hard enough. No, she grew up with fucking animals. She's got an education in those animals. Most of us who are autistic have a very good connection with animals. We love animals. What does Temple Grandin do, though? She uses her understanding of the psychology of animals, which most of us understand. We understand the psychology of you idiots, too. But she uses that psychology for the wholesale slaughter of those animals. I felt bad about killing a dog that I didn't even kill. One dog. One. How many of the things that she has designed for wholesale slaughter of animals? Shit, I'm going to tell you something. PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I am certain they must be out there talking about how great Temple Grandin is, aren't they? Oh, they are wholeheartedly supportive of autistic people because of Temple Grandin, aren't they? Temple Grandin is showing in that instance not only the opposite of how most of us are. She's showing how cruel of a person she actually is. Temple Grandin is not autistic. She is 100% not autistic. Temple Grandin is an emotionless psychopath. You do not get to use that against all autistic people. You do not get to pretend that this white girl with every advantage given to her on a silver fucking platter. You do not get to pretend that she is a story of adversity that you get to throw in our faces when you tell us that we need to do it by ourselves. She absolutely did not. By her own admission, she had all of the support in the world from her parents. Every advantage. She is not a story of success in the face of adversity. She is the story of a born and raised wholesale slaughterer of animals with no conscience or remorse whatsoever. Autistic people are loving first and foremost. You will not find an autistic person who is not loving, but they're not going to express it in most cases because they will be victimized. When Leitha Plunkett, when her son Gabriel, he heard her talking on the phone about how Gabriel will never give her a hug like her daughter Andrea did. Her son will never, ever try to give her a hug. He did try to give her a hug. He was almost to tears when he went out to give his mom a hug when he heard that. And he stuck his arms out and his mom fucking flinched. What are you doing? We're afraid of physical interaction. It's not that don't touch me is an autistic trait. It's don't touch me inappropriately. Don't treat me differently when I try to give you a hug than you did when my sister tried to give you a hug. Don't snap at me and berate me as if I've done something wrong when I try to give you a hug, especially after you were complaining that you would never get that sign of affection, and he's affectionate. He is highly affectionate, and I know this from experience. And when he realized that it was okay to try to hug his mom, she showed him that it wasn't. Sure, she wanted that hug. That's what she wanted, but she wanted that hug from her daughter. Not from Elon Musk. He's showing that despite the fact that he's done what he's done, people pretend like he's a bad person or a retard. He's a bad person or a retard because he's special needs. We're all special needs. We all need support. Elon Musk does have support, and he can fight this. He has money. He can fight this. They didn't do not 100 million. He can sue the shit out of Twitter and win. Is he going to? I certainly hope so. There need to be actual consequences for what you guys are doing to us. For your constant, incessant excuses for cruelty towards us, and that we deserve it because we're different. Yes, Elon Musk is special needs, but his needs are being met. His needs financially are met. His needs emotionally are much greater met than my own. He has the money for a lawyer. He has the money to see a doctor of his own instead of having to go to a court-appointed person. He has the money to hire a real lawyer who will actually do their job. He has money enough to have a voice as a disabled person. No, I don't like Elon Musk. I don't know him well enough to like him. No, I don't hate Elon Musk. I don't know him well enough to hate him. I know that I have opinions. I have lots of opinions. None of my opinions are based on actually knowing the man. Most of you, your opinions of me aren't based on knowing me. They're based on what you see on the internet. And selectively what you see on the internet. You watched a show like Rob Gavigan's. Or like Sword and Scale with Mike Boudet. You watched one of those and just assumed, didn't bother to look for yourself. Just like those people didn't bother to look for themselves. Printed it, and what these people had said as if it were the truth, with zero evidence. They didn't ask for any evidence. And in the courts, they didn't need evidence because I wasn't allowed to show up. It's not that I didn't want to. I fought hard to get those court dates. I literally had to break the law. Threaten some of them? No. When it came to threaten Natalie's friends and family, no, I didn't. I threatened retaliation, but I didn't threaten to kill them. Afterwards, with a situation with Ted Bollinger, I explained that if he did anything to Miss Shelley or Miss Danica, or any of Natalie's siblings, or Rose M. Kelly, I was very specific. As long as those people are safe, I won't go after Ted Bollinger. Of course, I would never go after Ted Bollinger to try to kill him anyway, but at that point, it was a serious enough situation, especially with Jordan Anderson not taking the situation seriously. And Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta, obviously, he wasn't going to take it seriously. I did threaten Ted. When he says that I threatened him, that's an absolute truth. I absolutely did, after Natalie's death, and for a very specific reason. All of these people were afraid of him. Danica, Rochelle, Rose, Natalie, all of them afraid of Ted Bollinger. Mandy Hughes, afraid of Ted Bollinger. She wanted to claim that I was a bad person because, there's a situation with Ted Bollinger. Maybe she should come forward in court about how she is afraid of Ted Bollinger. About how she was afraid to come forward because of Ted Bollinger from the start. Instead of blaming me when I had to post it publicly. And by the way, I thought those videos were taken down because she made a privacy complaint. They're still up. Mandy Hughes' stuff is still up. Meanwhile, we have people like Temple Grandin making the Autistic Society look like a bunch of emotionless fucking murdering drones who utilize their minds for wholesale destruction and death. Yes, Temple Grandin has a wonderful mind. I will be the first to admit that. Her education furthers that. However, she's not one of those people who has had the emotions trained out of her. She doesn't have them. She does not have... This lady is fucking crazy. Jesus fucking Christ. Ha! Was that a figment of my imagination, or did that lady just drive over that? I don't know if that's a crime or not, and I'm not going to try turning it in. That didn't endanger anybody's life. That didn't help predators to get away. That didn't help child molesters to walk free. The Bollinger family, same as the Kelly family, knew what Ted Bollinger was doing. The Bollinger family did everything that they could to protect Ted Bollinger, knowing what he'd done to Natalie and Alicia. Bobby Forrest verified that shit, but never came forward. What was I pissed off at him about? There was always some excuse why we just needed to wait. We just needed to wait. He was gonna. No. No. You went out of your way to do absolutely nothing and make empty promises, Bobby. Bobby Forrest is a mutual friend of mine and Natalie Bollinger's. If you look down her friends list, you will see his name. Bobby Forrest is magically missing. Just like Samantha Daniels, magically missing. She's another one that verified that. Don't verify it to me, verify it to the cops. Don't verify to me repeatedly that I told the truth about those situations when you need to tell the cops. You need to tell the media. You need to speak up about it. Those were your rights that were violated as well as mine. But you don't care because there's no consequences for you. They lied about you, same as they lied about me. But you didn't care because there were no consequences for you. See, that's the difference between you guys and autistic people. Our emotions are real. You guys are all fake. Every neurotypical is taught and trained to be a fucking liar. When you say that we don't pick up social cues, you mean we don't believe you when you fucking lie to us? Now, there is this thing that they were showing where if there's three different ropes, or sorry, it was three different lines, A, B, and C, and A is the longest, B is the shortest, and C is in the middle. Now, that's the way that they had it on the thing, but we'll just pretend that A is the longest, B is the middle, and C is the shortest, because they're in a row, and of course, it makes it easier for us to do it that way. It doesn't matter which one's B or C. So what they do is they have four people go into a room, and three of these people are in on the joke. And it's not really a joke, it's an exercise in humanity and how human brains work. So these people sit in a room, and these three people argue that the middle line is actually the longest. And they do this for like 45 minutes. And this one person is going, oh my God, everyone is completely fucking nuts. No, that line is not longer. B is not the longest line, A is. But by the end of it, when they had someone come in and ask them which line is the longest, well, that person who had been arguing that, no, that's not the longest line, they went along with the other four. When the other three, when the other three people said that B is the longest line, even that person who had argued, well, at that point, he didn't want to sound like he was crazy. If nobody else was crazy, they must have been right about it being the longest line, and he wasn't going to deviate from that. He didn't want to be the crazy one by being the odd man out in the bunch. And I pay attention to these studies and these social experiments. Do you? Elon Musk, I don't know if he had every advantage like Temple Grandin. I don't know that at all. I don't know anything about him other than, well, apparently as an autistic fucking special retards needs person, as Twitter wants to paint him, or the Twitter exec wants to paint him. Well, this guy's been in outer space. Have you?